You're listening to the REI Marketing Nerds Podcast, the leading resource for real estate investors who want to dominate their market online. Dan Barrett is the founder of AdWords Nerds, a high-tech digital agency focusing exclusively on helping real estate investors like you get more leads and deals online, outsmart your competition, and live a freer, more awesome life. And now, your host, Dan Barrett.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the REI Marketing Nerds podcast. As always, this is Daniel Barrett here from AdWordsNerds.com, and I want to get straight into it this week because for the next few weeks, we are doing a very special series. The audio from the podcast this week and for the next few weeks is going to be from a series of video trainings that I did that's called Big Fish, Small Pond, Stop Losing Deals and Beat Everyone to the Seller's Door. This was a multi-day, in-depth training I did with a very small group of investors, all about how you can stop losing deals even when your market's being invaded by iBuyers and a million different investors, how you can stop losing those deals, get to the sellers first by using this strategy I'm calling the Big Fish, Small Pond strategy. This is going to be a multi-video series and it's going to be a multi-podcast series. So if this is, the third one or the fourth one or whatever, go back and find the first one and listen to it. If you're lucky enough, this is just the first one. Watch out for it each week. These are going to be very, very special. I mean, this was a really high quality training that we did. I'm extremely proud of it and I can't wait for you to check it out. So without any further ado, let's get into the Big Fish, Small Pond training series. All right. Hello, everybody. And this is Daniel Barrett here. Super excited to have you. Welcome back. And we are going to get straight into it today, folks. We have a lot to cover and I want to get straight to the fun stuff. So let's get started. Today, we are going to take our first step towards no longer losing deals to the competition and getting in front of motivated sellers every week who say yes to your offer on their property. Now, let's do a quick recap of what we know so far, right? So like we talked about in our last video, if we want to be the first investor seller, if we want to be the first investor that sellers come to for an offer, we have to stop swimming in the kind of open real estate ocean where all the iBuyer sharks in your competition are swimming. And instead, we have to be a big fish in a small pond. We no longer want to be the small fish in the big pond. We want to change that up and be the big fish in our small pond. Now, the way we do that, instead of blanketing like the entire market with our ads and targeting every seller who raised their hand wanting to sell, what we're going to do is go after small pockets of sellers who are the most motivated, and we target them everywhere online. So by focusing on targeting a few thousand sellers instead of tens of thousands, you can get more mileage out of your budget and start out with a small $50 a day ad spend. Now, since we're targeting small pockets of sellers, we can afford to show them our ads everywhere they go online. We're going to be omnipresent. We're going to be everywhere they go. So if they go to Facebook, they're going to see our ad in their newsfeed. If they check out Instagram, our ad's going to pop up as they're scrolling through the pictures. If they open their Gmail, there's our ad again, right? If they go watch a video on YouTube, our ad pops up again, right? There's nowhere for these sellers to hide. And because of that, we can become the number one go-to real estate investor in their eyes because we're everywhere. When they think of selling their home, when they think of working with a real estate investor, they are going to think of us. And the key here is because we keep adding more and more motivated sellers into our small pond every week, we're never going to run out of sellers we can send offers to and put those properties under contract. So there's no more peaks and valleys in our deal flow. There's no more ending the month without closing a deal. There's no more other investors stealing them out from under us. We can have a predictable flow of leads, right? Filling up our CRM every day with motivated sellers. And that means that we can close deals and cash checks every week. So this is the power of this kind of big fish, small pond process. I hope this makes sense. You guys can let me know with all these videos, let me know in the comments, ask questions, let me know what you want to know. And I will be happy to get into it, be happy to help you, be happy to answer whatever questions you have. So just let me know in the comments. So what is the first step? What is the first step to doing this? Say, Dan, you've convinced me. How do we get started? Now, if you can see the power of this kind of big fish, small pond ad strategy and how investors use it, and you can see how you can stop losing deals to competition. You can see how you can have sellers coming in every day, creating consistent income every month for your real estate investing business. The question is, how do you actually start doing that? How do you start implementing it? Well, the first big pond that we want to tap into, and we want to move fish from that big pond into our small pond. That big pond is Google Ads. Now, here are some of the reasons why I almost always suggest that investors start this process with Google Ads. All right. So reason number one is it doesn't matter what market you are investing in, you are going to find motivated sellers on Google, right? So according to Google right now, interest in the search term sell my house is at an all-time high. Literally, there are more people using that channel to sell their homes now than there have ever been since the internet was invented. There are 3.5 billion searches every day on Google right now. That is billion with a B, right? And so there are more people searching for real estate investors now than at any time in human history. And it doesn't matter whether you're on the East Coast or the West Coast. It doesn't matter if you're in a small town or if you're in a big city. Sellers are everywhere. Everywhere that people sell their homes, people use Google to sell their homes, right? So let's do a quick research. I'm going to show you some example. Pulled up some keyword research on sell my house in Greenville. Okay. So Greenville, South Carolina, it's a city with a population of 63,000 people, right? And there are 100 searches this month alone looking to sell their house. This is from basically a single keyword. If you target sell my house Greenville, you basically get all of this stuff. This is just kind of the way that the keyword research works, right? So if you have one of these keywords generating about 100 searches a month, if you could get 10 to 100 searches for just one keyword, there are probably over 1,000 sellers in that market willing to sell their house this month because there are over 100 different keywords you can plug you into your account to get in front of motivated sellers, right? This is just from one keyword. If we stack multiple keywords like this on top of each other, you can get to a pretty significant volume of people pretty much in any market. Now, if you're in a bigger market, like if you're in like New York City, for example, you're going to get thousands of searches a month for just a single keyword. So basically, whatever market you are in, you can find sellers on Google, which is one of the reasons it's so powerful, right? Now, the second reason is that when sellers decide that they want to sell to a cash buyer, they Google it first, right? And this is something that's really critical to understand. Like when people want to do something, they're not 100% sure about it. When they want to know more about it, they want to do research. Like if you want to do research, where do you go? Do you go to the encyclopedia, right? No, you go on Google, right? It's what everybody does, right? So no, look, like I don't really have like anything against sending direct mail or cold calling or bandit signs, right? But these are all classic forms of marketing. They have worked in the past. They're going to continue to work, right? But the biggest factor I found that could mean the difference between dialing 4,000 numbers to get a single deal compared to talking to just a dozen sellers to get a deal is timing, okay? This is all about timing, all right? You have probably heard there's a famous Wayne Gretzky quote where he says, a good hockey player plays where the puck is, but a great hockey player plays where the puck is going to be. And this is like really critical to understand because in the end, it's all about timing. You can play where the puck is, but if you go where the puck is going to be, you're going to be there at just the right time, right? You can't be a little behind and you can't be too far ahead or you're going to miss that opportunity, right? So likewise, the secret to getting on the phone with motivated sellers and scoring deals every week, the difference between doing that and not doing that is to be in front of the sellers when they decide that it's time for them to sell, okay? You want to get them in the moment where they make the decision of their own free will that it's time for them to sell. So the question is, where can you find sellers at that specific moment? How do you get people when they are ready to sell today? Like, how do you get them, right? Well, you get them at the top of Google, right? Because when sellers have evaluated their options and they're going to sell to an investor without using a realtor, they go to Google and they type in sell my house, or they type in sell my house fast, or sell my house cash, or some variation of that, right? And when you are right there at the top of Google at the right time, bam, that's when the magic happens, right? That's when you get the deal. This is why a lot of sellers who come from mail, who come from mailers, or they come from bandit signs or cold calls, whatever. The reason a lot of those people turn out to be tire kickers, or as an investor friend of mine likes to call them window lickers, right? Which is pretty great. You know, the reason that so many of them are window lickers, right? It's because they haven't decided yet to actually sell. They're still kind of in that early phase, right? It's either too late because they've talked to a million other investors, or it's too early. But when you use Google to get in front of the sellers at the moment they decide to sell, you're going to hear yes to your offers. You are going to have more sellers sign on the dotted line, and you are going to have more sellers consistently close every week. This is the difference between being where the puck is and being where the puck is going to be. So life can be much easier when you decide you don't have to talk to 40 to 50 to 60 to 80 sellers to do a deal. You can just talk to 12 people that are actually ready. Okay. Now, reason number 3 why I like to start with Google Ads so much is that Google Ads brings you a consistent flow of leads day in and day out. So, of course, yes, there are seasonal fluctuations. The volume of traffic gets affected by what's happening in the market. It goes up and down every day, every week. Of course, that's true. But, right, like a faucet with running water, you can turn up or down the volume of leads that you need to fill up your CRM, right? You can turn that up or down. So if you've got a big bill coming up and you want to close a couple more deals this month so you don't get into a cash crunch, you can add more keywords to the account to get in front of more motivated sellers, right? You know, you're going to get into keyword research and building strategies later on. We're going to cover all that stuff. But there are basically over a couple hundred keywords that you can bid on in your market, and all those together are going to add up to a significant number of sellers.
Want to find motivated seller leads online, but don't know where to start? Download our free 2019 Motivated Seller Keyword Report today. AdWords nerds have spent over $5 million this year researching the most profitable keywords for finding motivated seller leads. And you can grab these exact keywords when you download our report at www.adwordsnerds.com/keywords.
You know, let's say you are busy with the rehab and, you don't have a ton of time this month to start a new project, and you just want to keep leads trickling in to stay on top of things, but you don't want to do a ton of work doing follow-up. You can turn the volume down, right? You can turn it up again whenever you want, but you can turn it down if you want to chill out for a little while, right? Like here as an example. This is an account. This is someone that I've worked with, right? And it's been running. I think this graph is like, if you look all the way over at the left, that little sort of red peak here over here, that's like July of 2018 or so, right? So this has been running for over a year now, and it's been generating close to 70 to 80 to 90 leads a month, every single month. And you can see there's a natural up and down, right? You can see there are peaks and valleys, but it's pretty consistent. So when you do this the right way and you invest into actually running ads, you can wake up every day to new seller leads sitting in your CRM, eagerly waiting to get an offer from you, right? Now, there are probably more reasons to use Google than there are more reasons to use Google than I've gone into here, but those are the big ones. And really, what I want you to take away from this, right? What I want you to take away from this is if you want to get off the lead flow roller coaster and you want steady and consistent leads and deals, you need an engine that's generating those for you. You cannot sit back and leave that to chance. You have to make that happen. And if your goal is to make that happen, Google Ads is probably the best place to start making that your reality. So that's the theory. Now that we've covered the basics, I want to get you started by setting up your Google account, because basically over the next 3 days, I'm going to be walking you step by step through launching your first Google ad so you can actually start filling up your CRM with motivated seller leads and consistently get properties under contract every month. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through this whole process. Do me a favor, go through this with me now. Feel free to pause the video, do whatever you need to do. Go through this with me. When you're done, take a screenshot and of your account when you're done and post it in the group so I can see that you did this, because basically the more I see you taking action, the more excited I get about going deeper into the training and to help you get your phone ringing off the hook with motivated sellers. It really gets me jazzed up to see people kind of following along. So when we're done, take a screenshot, post it in the group. All right, let's go through this, folks. Let's do this live. You ready? I'm going to show you the super fancy ways to do this. Now, the place we're going to go is ads.google.com. All right, ads.google.com. Now, let's say you have trouble type that in. Just literally type in Google Ads into Google and you'll find it. Okay, so just type in Google Ads into Google, you'll find it. The URL is ads.google.com. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new account. We're going to hit this awesome blue button that's called Start Now. Now, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Many points in this process, and really with Google in general, they are going to make recommendations to you. They're going to say, hey, we have this new feature, or hey, you should let us get on the phone with you and work it out with you, or hey, let us, you're missing this part of you're missing these keywords, add them in. I'm going to tell you 99% of the time, what they suggest to you is a bad idea. Okay. So the stuff I'm going to teach you in this whole course that we're going through right now, these are all proven for real estate investors. These are, tactics and strategies and settings and all this stuff that we have spent millions of dollars testing, literally millions of dollars testing. So Google's going to suggest stuff. I'm just going to ask you to put your faith in me and ignore Google for a while and just do what I ask you to do, because it is going to be better for you. I promise. Okay. All right. So let's click this Start Now button right here. Oh, let me click this. Start Now. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to ask you to choose an account. The way that this works is it's going to run through your Google account. So if you have like a Google Calendar account, if you have a Gmail account, you can use that. If you don't have one, you can simply click Use Another Account, and it's going to, you're going to pick an email that you want to use, and then we can click Create Account. All right. And then we're going to go into create a Google account and then put my name, Dan Barrett. I'm going to use an email. I'm going to use one that I don't think I've used before. And I'm going to do a password. So my password's got to be something relatively secure. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and click Next. All right. Now it's going to send me an email. All right. It's going to basically say, hey, we're sending you an email, and you're going to check it. You're going to get a code. But, this could take anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes. Folks, so I'm just back in my email, and I can see I got this wonderful email from Google. It says, verify this email address is yours. And it's going to give me this code here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this code, come back, now enter this in. Now, to be clear, if you already have a Google account or Gmail account, you can just use that one. You don't have to go through all this rigmarole. This is just showing to people, just in case you don't have one, this how you do this. We're going to go ahead and click verify. All right, now I'm just going to ask me for my phone number. I'm going to put my birthday, which is March 16, 1980, and my gender. And then we're going to go ahead and click next. It's going to verify my phone number. So it's going to send me a text message with a notification doodle. Boom, already got it. So it says the code is 133612. Okay, verify. Okay, no, I'm going to skip this. It's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and click agree. Cool. Now it's bringing me in. Boom. I am in Google Ads. I've officially set up my account. Now, there's a couple things I'm going to ask you to do. Now, the very first thing I'm going to ask you to do, it's giving me this kind of thing here where it says, what's my main advertising goal? And it's going to walk me through. Remember what I said about when Google makes recommendations to you, see if you can skip it. If you have this little line here that says experienced with Google Ads, go ahead and click that. Now, if you don't have that, okay, some people are not going to have this. Google tests a lot of different things here. It creates a lot of different things here. You should have that link, but if you don't, you can still walk through the rest of the process. It's going to ask you questions and stuff. just don't turn anything on. It's going to really push you to turn on your ads very early. It's going to try to get you to set something up and run it right away. Why are they going to do that? Because that's going to make Google money. We're going to avoid that. Okay. So for example, if it asks me to do this, I'm just going to say, I'm going to create a campaign or I'm going to create an account without a campaign because I don't want to set anything up yet. You and I are going to go through that in the next couple of videos. I just want to finish setting up my account. All right. Confirm my business information. Yes, I'm in the United States. You put your time zone. Yes, US dollar. I'm going to click submit. Okay. And I can click explore your account. Boom. This is my Google Ads account. I just did it. Now, if you have any issues with any part of that, let me know. Like you can let me know in the comments or whatever. Sometimes people get some, and this is one of the things about Google. They are constantly testing new things. So you may run into something that's slightly different from what I saw. Just think of a couple sort of like core concepts in mind. One, you don't want to turn anything on yet. So Google is going to push you in a lot of ways to turn a campaign on, to turn an ad on. Just try to avoid that if at all possible. Whenever possible, say, I'm experienced in Google Ads. You can just get to the campaigns. Say, I want to create an account without a campaign. We are going to put that stuff in there later. But for right now, we don't want to do any of that yet. Okay. I hope that makes sense. We literally just walked through the entire process of setting up a Google account. That is everything you need to start running ads, getting leads, and filling up your CRM. So up next, in the next video, we're going to be talking about finding the keywords that get us in front of highly motivated sellers. We are going to cut out the stuff that isn't motivated and focus on the stuff that is, putting us in the small pond so we can be the big fish. I hope you're excited for that. Let me know in the comments if you like this video. If you have questions, post screenshots. If you set up your account, I want to know, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Thanks for checking out the Big Fish Small Pond training series for this week. If you want to get the whole rest of this series, either look before or after this one, depending on which one you're listening to go get the rest of them. They are very high quality, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now, if you are curious about the Big Fish Small Pond training series and you want to get plugged into that, you want to get the videos, you want to ask about whatever programs we have, just drop me an email at danbarrettvip@gmail.com. That's DanBarrettvip@gmail.com. That's danbarrettvip@gmail.com. Drop me an email. I'll be happy to hook you up with whatever resources we have, and I look forward to talking with you. Thanks a lot.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.